Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday talk. Today, we're going to be talking all about marketing for Right at Home. Okay, sweet. So, if you would please introduce yourself to our listeners.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Brooke Wittrock. I'm the Vice President of National Marketing here at Right at Home. I am in our corporate office and I work with a large team in our marketing department that covers national advertising, content development, online marketing. We have a whole creative department as well as events. So, large team. We really enjoy what we do and all the things that we get to support the brand and all of the franchisees.
Okay, thank you for that. And I've cheated a little bit. I have a list of questions that I have prepared for you in advance of this discussion. Just knowing all of the frequently asked questions that we get here on the franchise development team, and knowing that the audience of people who have joined us today or are watching this recording are people who are interested in joining the Right at Home system as a Right at Home franchise owner. So let's start at the very beginning. And a frequently asked question that we get is, okay, I'm getting ready to open my business. I have absolutely no idea. I have no experience in marketing. I have no idea where to start. So let's start there. How does marketing help a new franchisee open their doors and create awareness in his or her local market?
Yeah. So, great question. Great place to start, especially, I'm sure that is probably a frequently asked question. So I will walk through some of those things that we get to support the franchisees with. And I'm going to start with our Right Start program. That is not just a marketing program that is system-wide. What it is, it's a process that takes a franchise through all the steps, step by step, to opening the office and beyond. So it's a nice long process so that we could touch little touch points along the way. And marketing is a part of that. So one of the very first things with the marketing team that a franchisee will work on is we have an online marketing specialist. We have a team of marketing specialists that a franchisee will work one-on-one with a dedicated online marketing specialist to spin up the website and spin up a Facebook page. And you think, well, we're doing this before we open our doors, and we want to do that. We want to work with you on the office space and all of those things and spin up the online directories and all those things to get them ready so that when a franchisee opens his or her doors, we're ready to be visible in the market. So that is one thing that we will spin up before the office so that it's ready to launch when the office opens. So we're getting all of that ready. The franchisee will work one-on-one with that online marketing specialist to really customize that website. What is content that they want to put on there? What are the areas served? If there's a special video, different things. So again, we want to make that local. So that's one piece. Also, when the franchisee opens his or her doors, we want to prepare that franchisee to go out and market services. So they will receive a packet of brochures, different collateral for caregivers and referral sources and clients and families, stationery folders, business cards. One less thing for the franchisee to think about, wearing many, many hats as you're opening your office. So we want to prepare all of those packets, which again are customized with the office phone number and location and making sure that they are for that office. And then the other thing that I really want to touch on, because I think it is so important, is that right out of the gate, Right at Home has a brand fund, and I'm sure we're going to get into that, Jen, but we have a marketing fund, national advertising fund. So right out of the gate, when a franchisee opens that office, whether brand new, taking over, we want to make sure that we are covering that office with national advertising for awareness and visibility, but also unique to our brand fund and maybe others, but really it's not always in all the brand funds, lead generation tactics, which is driving traffic to that website we just created for visibility. So I know that was a long-winded question, or answer, but I just wanted to kind of share all of those things that are happening before the office opens.
Okay, I have clarifying questions for you. I wrote down a couple notes here. So just want to call out because we've had people ask this before and actually do this, and you don't need to do this on your own as a franchise owner. Again, we are going to spin up your website for you and with you. So you don't need to go out and create your own website. Like, we have resources here and people here to help you with that.
Yeah.
And then also, Brooke, love that you like noted that we will work with you, the franchise owner, on customizing it. So it's not like every single website is carbon copied the same to the next one. You're going to get some customization that you're going to work on with us to get that customized. But question for you. You mentioned Facebook, like spinning up your Facebook page, and people often ask, so like, am I responsible for making all of my Facebook posts, and do you monitor the posts, and how do I ensure that like it's within, like our brand standards, and what does that look like? If you could just provide some insight there.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of go back to your website, we highly encourage it to be really as customized as you can. Give us that content and tell us, who you are and who you're serving and all of the things that make it unique to your market, the better. The better for, everybody in your community to find you. So yes, on that Facebook, we will spin up that local Facebook page. We have a national Facebook page for Right at Home. We post on that Monday, Wednesday, Friday. All those posts will go down to the local level, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So as a franchisee is starting the business, that is one less thing again to worry about is, do I have to post every day on my social media? What do I post? Maybe you haven't gone out to a bunch of community events. So what do you have, to share? You're sharing, you're opening your doors and maybe a ribbon cutting and some fun things. But again, we want to support all of our franchisees and make sure that we keep that Facebook page fresh and live because people are looking to engage with that page. We do recommend franchisees do post Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we have someone on our team who's a social media specialist who does lots of different trainings. We have a very special tool that does not cost franchisees anything that they can use to put in the different posts. Maybe they want to schedule out for a full month. They can put that in there and then they can kind of set it and forget it, if you will, like that will post for them. So we're just trying to find tools that make it easy for a franchisee to use their social media, especially if it's not, in your favorite things to do in marketing, that we want to make sure that that's easy for them to do.
Okay, awesome. And one more thing I do want to clarify. So you mentioned so when you're first opening, we're going to provide all of that initial collateral pieces, I call it. So what Brooke is referring to is, think of all the information that you're going to need to share with clients, information that needs to be shared with family members of those clients. As you're getting out there into the community and hitting up those referral sources, that's separate marketing materials that you're going to be sharing with those audiences. So all of this is provided to you as a new franchise owner as you are establishing your business. And then, which leads me to my next kind of follow-up question. So what specific marketing resources and tools does the corporate office provide to franchise owners to help them continue to attract and retain clients?
So I'm going to kind of touch on that, maybe just as we just went through with online marketing and the advertising and the collateral too. Mm-hmm. And then please, if you have questions, happy to continue and dive a little bit further in that. But when we think of online marketing, if you're searching, that's where you're searching. You're searching online to find the information you need. So that's where the online marketing specialist really comes in and works with the franchisee one-on-one and will help create more visibility in market. The way they do that is they may share with you different articles that you can write on or ways to customize landing pages to show up more for what you want to show up for. They're awesome. Behind the scenes. They're doing all the schema and technical things. Don't need to do any of that, right? So they're going to really optimize your website for visibility and for traffic. So when a client is searching for in-home care or right at home, that they're going to find that local office. So they're working with that. They will share metrics. They will share information as much as the franchisee would like to see on that website to help customize that page. When it comes to the creative side, the way that we just support ongoing, one is we have so much creative. We have a brand folder, which is a digital asset manager where franchisees can go and find flyers, brochures, radio scripts, billboards, tons of collateral for all different messages, hospital to home, veteran care, long-term care insurance. So if you think of an audience, it's probably in brand folder. Custom photography is another big one because we don't want to look like everyone else out there. So there is custom photography out there that franchisees can use. All of that, again, right in a portal, franchisees can access. So they can create different marketing pieces, download things already done, ready for them to use in brand standards, so they don't have to think about that. So again, helping them with that communication and what they need to share with the different audiences. You can find it on that platform. And then advertising. Certainly, we want to make sure that every single office has the same exposure when it comes to our national advertising from the brand fund. And what that means is we really take to heart our philosophy, no franchisee left behind. So franchisees put dollars into the brand fund. Those dollars we want to make sure cover all of the locations. TV, online marketing, we do social media, display, retargeting, pay-per-click, so all of the different marketing tactics that we want franchisees to get that coverage for. So we will support that on a national level and really help with that driving brand awareness, perception, right, branding, as well as lead generation. And that is ongoing.
Okay, awesome. And just for clarity for our listeners, every franchise system, they call it things, some call it different, refer to it a different terminology than others. We've got a 5% royalty, and most franchise systems have a percentage that goes towards marketing, which they call a marketing fee. Here we call it our brand fund contribution, which is 2%. So when Brooke says brand fund, what she's talking about is that fee that you pay towards the marketing fund, which we call it our brand fund contribution. So that's a great segue into my next question that we get quite often. So most people understand, all right, so, the frequently asked question we get is like, so that 2% that I pay, where does it go and how is it spent? But most of the time they ask, all right, so specifically, I understand that goes to national marketing, which you just described, and then a little bit about how it helps local owners. So can you maybe dig in a little bit deeper on how we support our franchise owners more on a local level? So of course there's the national, but then there's the local marketing, and how is it do franchise owners need to contribute a separate fund or have different money that they spend just locally in their local markets? And how do we assist with that or provide guidance for that? Can you describe that a little bit further?
Yeah, I will, and let me know if you need any clarification because I have a lot of things going through my mind to share. But yes, for at a local level, we cover for the brand fund, we will cover some like paid search advertising and some senior directory lead generation. That's with the brand fund. But we also say franchisees want to do additional advertising in their market, right? That adds more visibility to your market, to your local office, your overall awareness.
Yep.
So that is highly encouraged to do that. The way that we can help franchisees, because again, if marketing isn't your go-to, right? If you are looking for guidance on that, a couple of different things. One, we have our corporate staff that is here to support and to guide you in directions to find different marketing plans and different things within that brand folder that we can help share best practices with the franchisee on where to look for leads, or are you looking for awareness, or are you looking for more PR? So we can support that. On a paid level, we have a national advertising agency that we work with. They are a full service marketing agency. They do our national advertising placement and strategy. So we are working with them all the time. Because they are national, they also will work with a franchisee if a franchisee is interested in doing additional marketing, paid marketing plans, from adding more dollars to the pay-per-click campaign to doing a full approach marketing plan with billboards or radio or whatever that franchisee is looking to do. Or maybe they don't know, right? And they are just looking for guidance. So it's almost like the franchisee has their own marketing agency that can work with an advisor there and get guidance that way on a paid plan. So there's another, stream of support that a franchisee can have on what should I do if I'm not quite sure where I should go, and best practices, and going through like how much dollars should I put in? That's a big question we get sometimes. How much money should I put into this? Well, that marketing agency can kind of run those numbers and support that based on your budget and your goals.
Okay, awesome. And that's a good transition into my next question here, that I had teed up before we met today, which happens to be about strategy. So I had the privilege of sitting through an amazing presentation that you did last week with some franchise owners talking about an annual strategy, and like here's the brand fund, and here's how how we spend those marketing dollars to help franchise owners in any given year. So can you talk just a little bit about kind of what goes into that strategy, and maybe some of those metrics, like here's what works and here's what doesn't. And so I know, because I sat through this presentation, that those marketing dollars are spent very wisely on what is working, and then those marketing dollars go away on things that aren't working. So just provide some clarity on how those brand fund dollars are spent and how we make those choices on where we choose to spend those dollars.
Sure. And, we really start with, what is the goal? We have a purpose for our brand fund, why it was created, and that is brand awareness, brand perception, and lead generation. So those are the three things that we have to do.
Yep.
That is why it's been created. So we look at that, and from there, who are our target audiences? Who are we trying to reach? And what are the goals there? So that's when we come up with individual campaigns. And we say, these are the different tactics that we're going to use because it's going to bring in awareness. It's going to engage with people for positive perception. It's going to drive lead generation. So without diving all the way into the whole campaign and all of the different tactics that we do, pretty high level, we look at it as a full funnel marketing approach: awareness, perception, and leads. We want to cast that net wide. We want to bring them down into a lead, and we want to meet them everywhere they are on their journey. So we take that approach, and that's how we build those tactics out. And then all of those tactics are measured. And this is a big piece of my job personally, but just in the marketing team, that we are constantly looking at performance all of the time. Is it doing what we want it to do? And we have to report that out to, yes, our leadership teams and the Strategic Leadership Council, which is the voice of the system. There's franchisees who sit on this council who represent the system, and we are sharing those metrics, and then we are also sharing them with the system. So it is very transparent whether these dollars are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So I do really like that. It holds us very accountable to make sure that we are stretching those brand fund dollars and doing that. So I don't know if that answers your question, but it's just, I love marketing. I love the puzzle that we get to put together all the time and make sure that things are working. And you're right, Jen, if something is not working and it's not going to hit our mark, let's pivot. Let's make sure it works, that it hits our goal. Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, awesome. And then a follow-up question to that. So you mentioned this national franchise marketing agency that we partner with. Are there any other partnerships or collaborations with any other external marketing agencies or vendors that the corporate office has established to benefit our franchise owners?
Yeah, I can speak to a few of those. We do have a PR firm that we work very closely with. Public relations isn't something that we touched on, so I can do that here. Really an important piece, especially for new owners, whether it's a brand new market or it's a new ownership. We want to make sure that we are, again, getting visibility in the market. And PR, news media is a great way to do it. It's very trusted media. Get to share your why. So we want to make sure that we are sharing that within the market. So any new office ownership, we do pitch out to local media, but we keep that ongoing throughout the year. We are always pitching news stories, things that franchisees can talk to, they feel comfortable talking to. We'll do media prep if needed. So definitely want to make sure you feel comfortable, because who wants to stand in front of a camera? Like, not a lot of people do. We want to make you feel very comfortable doing that. So Mainland is our PR agency, and we work very, very closely with them to push those out. We do have relationships with senior care directories. I mean, we have one that we do through our brand fund program, but we also have relationships with others. So if franchisees are interested in expanding beyond that, we can help give them a name or a contact to go out and do that. So those are a couple that come to mind that franchisees would be working one-on-one with.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. And then actually, one more question on that front, a question that we get often. So when you refer to marketing, I think most people assume to like consumer marketing. So like everything out there that you see is, hey, sign up for right at home services. But is there a level of, hey, become an employee with your local right at home as a caregiver? Is there an aspect of marketing to that audience as well when it comes to national marketing?
Yes, thank you for that. We actually have three audiences when it comes to national marketing. So the clients and families, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Caregiver recruitment is another one. And then
Mm-hmm.
referral sources is a third.
Yeah.
So we do have national marketing more on the awareness level for recruitment because a lot of franchisees are doing things in their own market, such as working with like the job sites or doing career fairs or different things. So if we can support with the awareness of what is a caregiver job and what does that look like with right at home high level, then we built that awareness. So when somebody does go apply, hopefully they've heard and seen that. We do also, this is kind of a unique move too, when it comes to that paid Google Bing advertising, right? When you're doing your search and you see that ad pop up, we offer a targeting strategy where franchisees can say, I want to target clients and families, or I want to target caregivers. And so it is kind of a unique strategy where you get to say where you want your brand fund dollars. If you put dollars on top of that because you are interested in doing local marketing, great. But that is something based on your goals, because coming up as a new owner, you may need both. And as you become more seasoned in the role, you may want more clients or more caregivers. So that kind of depends. So we do offer that as a strategy. And then referral sources is our third. And we do have some marketing that we do at a national level to support referral sources.
Okay. Awesome. And I promise you, I'm watching the Q&A box and there have been no questions yet. And what that means is that, and then of course, as soon as I say that, a question, three questions just popped into the Q&A box. I was about ready to say, nobody's asking questions because you're doing such a great job of being super informative. But here we go. So there's three questions that popped into the Q&A box here. It's that the first one says, how does Right at Home help franchise owners make sure they don't underperform? And I would say that's more of a operational question, not necessarily, and perhaps when it comes to marketing, this could be more marketing specific if the like marketing tactics aren't working. How you work with them on maybe kind of shifting those tactics. So you can certainly answer it from a marketing perspective, but for whoever typed in this question, certainly work with your development director that you're working with right now, and she would be able to give you more clarity on how you can get an answer to that question if you're asking more operationally. So you want to start with that one, Brooke?
Sure. So taking it from a marketing perspective, so again, we are always looking at the marketing on a national level, but then when we do our lead generation, we are looking at a local level. So we will look at, which offices maybe aren't getting as many leads. What I can really say, which I'm so proud of, is that when we come to our, pay-per-click advertising and things like that, all of the offices are spending. All of the offices are seeing leads. So what we would look at is which ones maybe aren't getting as many and why. And we do have strategies that we will tweak in the background. Open with franchisees. I mean, if there's certain areas in your own market where you're not getting clients, should we shift those dollars to areas that you are? So we will again work with them one-on-one to make sure that that brand fund or any additional dollars is again working. So we do watch that very, very closely. And then any underperformance with website and things like that, again, they have their online marketing specialists that they can work with one-on-one.
Okay, Perfect. And there are two other questions. They aren't really marketing specific, but I do want to ask them just to acknowledge this individual's question or questions. First one says, expanding on the first question, what do top performers do differently than average performers? And then the third part of the question is, given dynamic landscape of this type of business, how can franchisees stay relevant given the competition? So I'll address both of those questions. So the first one, average performers versus top performers, that answer to me is very simple, and that is the franchisee is highly, highly engaged, meaning they stay very connected with the franchisor. They stay very connected with their business performance coach, their online marketing specialist. They're out there in the community staying engaged with those referral sources. They're highly engaged with their caregivers. So it's not just engagement with the franchisor, but staying engaged with all of those audiences that Brooke talked about, as well as the franchisor. So constantly tweaking things. If things aren't working, let's shift and pivot, try something else, but stay very connected with your business performance coach and the franchisor. To me, that is the difference between a high performer and maybe just an average performer. And then given the dynamic landscape of this business, how can a franchisee stay relevant given the competition? And my answer to this is the same almost every time. And we here at Right at Home can't really speak to what our competition is doing and how they're doing things. We are the experts on Right at Home and how to run a Right at Home business. So my answer to that is yes, in any market that you go into, it's no secret. If you're purchasing a new territory, there are seniors and adults with disabilities that are getting care from a senior care partner of some kind right now. So it's up to you when you go in and you purchase your territory and you start up your Right at Home business to get out there into the community and stay very connected with the community and be the face of the business. And persistence is key. So when you join the Right at Home system, you come here for Residence Week and you go through training. Residence Week is the in-person week-long training. You're going to meet with our inside and outside salesperson, and she will tell you persistence is key. So you're going to get no quite often. Once you keep going back and back and back to those referral sources that are telling you no, you're eventually going to get a yes. So I think it's relevant to stay, in order to stay relevant, given the competition, is to stay seen and get out there and make it known that you are a new Right at Home business. You're ready to provide senior care to seniors and adults with disabilities, and you have to consistently do that and be persistent when it comes to trying to get those clients and building your business. So that's how I would answer that question. But for sure, connect with your development director, and she can provide more clarity on both of those questions, or not only those two, but your first question as well. So I'm hopeful that those my long-winded answer answers your question as well as Brooke's. So Brooke, we're coming in on 30 minutes here. I do have one final question, and this is relevant as we kind of wrap things up here. So again, all of the information that you shared today was really awesome, super informative. Thank you. But what I want to touch on last is what kind of ongoing support does the corporate office offer to franchise owners to help them stay updated with the latest marketing trends and strategies? So just what does that ongoing support look like as they move forward and continue to run their business?
Yeah. So two things. One, we are, again, always looking at what is happening in market. We are watching marketing trends. We are watching those shifts. We are doing research on our audiences. Have things changed in we'll call them personas, the client, the caregiver, the referral source, and we share that with the system. So you know what their values are. How do you reach them by media? Has anything tweaked and changed? So that is very openly shared through our brand standards. So we want to make sure you know who you're reaching. Is there any changes happening across the board marketing-wise? So that's on a national level. And then on a local level, just to stay relevant, like your online marketing specialist, every single month they're going to have an initiative. Little things, bite-sized pieces that franchisees can do to help move the needle. May I have a review? They're going to talk through how to have a review. They might have different things on share me what, what's happening in your community, the different service pages. So every single month, a little thing that you can do within maybe 30 minutes, give them that information to help move the needle. And then we have other marketing packages. Again, turnkey packages to help franchisees talk to their news media, share things with online sources, publications, different chambers, things like that. You talked about being visible and staying in front. Again, those turnkey packages help them stay very relevant, very trending topics that they don't have to go out and research. They get to maybe put in a quote, like I said, turnkey, and get those out the door. So those are a few things that we just want to make sure that they can stay relevant in their market.
Okay. Awesome. And there's no more questions in the Q&A box here, Brooke, and we're out of time here, but thank you so much for this. Thank you for taking the time to do this. I know you're super busy, so I appreciate you taking the time, and I know that our listeners do as well. So thanks again.
Very welcome. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Let's do this again sometime soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.